welcome to Jessica's Creative Spot. Today I am going to talk you through my plans for the upcoming projects that I've got going on. I'm looking around because they're laid out in front of me. I've been using this pattern, Simplicity 4070. It is a princess line bodice with, I would choose the A-line skirt, and it just looks like a really nice project that I think would also work quite well as a bodice sloper. So I've been working with Creative Costume Academy's how to fit system, and it's been so helpful going through their boot camp. So I've now got an idea of how to do the fitting and translate that to the pattern, so that's fantastic. I've worked out, for me, the main difference is I need a dart at the back of my shoulders. Okay, cool. I'm not sure what fabric I'll make that one out of yet. There's lots of different options for me. Yeah. My big project that I've been working on for more than a year, which has been percolating in the back of my mind, going on and on and on, is Princess Coat by Charm Patterns. So I printed out the instructions. Printing out the instructions, there is 77 pages. So I highly recommend getting some sort of a folder if you're going to do that. The instructions are fantastic. I have done my mock-up of my bodice. It's sitting next to you over there. I did one of this type of sleeve and one of, so here's the pictures, one of the straight type of sleeve on my mock-up, and that has shown me that both of them will work quite nicely, and we'll go from there. The fabric that I have for that one is this red cotton, not sure what type it is. It's fairly thick. It's got no stretch, it's cotton, it's woven. And so this will be the outer fabric. I have been thinking for a while, and I think I will interline it with some polar fleece, just to give it the extra warmth that I need for the winters down here. It doesn't snow that much down here, which is why I wasn't sure if I'd need it, but I have one child who does football, and so for you Americans, soccer, the one with the round ball, not the rugby shaped ball. And so going out at 9:30 on a Saturday morning, standing around in the frost, yeah, I'm going to need something warm for that. My next project that I have, this is a dress that I've been thinking about for a while. I want long sleeve with a cuff, with a long skirt. This is not princess line bodice, but it is raglan sleeve. I have found that the style that I like on me, that my favourite clothes are, is princess line with raglan sleeve. It's not what I'm currently wearing. This is an all-in-one sleeve, adapted from a jumpsuit pattern that I got, but that's the clothes that I keep going back to and back to and back to. All have raglan sleeves, all have princess lines. My favourite hoodie, raglan sleeve. My favourite knit jumper, raglan sleeves, and the way the bodice is shaped, it's how it's been knit. It's not quite princess line, but it's close. Because it's knit, it's a little bit different because of how the shaping is done. I'm trying to think what else. I adapted a pattern to be a princess, to be raglan sleeved from a princess line dress. I will see if I can link that that lady's pattern in the description, and her video of her making up the dress, princess line dress. And so much like Charlie from the Stitchery, I've got a princess line raglan sleeve dress with a hood, which is really fun. But that raglan sleeve and the princess line, I think the raglan sleeve I worked out because it's all about the dart. Thank you, Trisha. But where the raglan sleeve hits on my back, I'll turn around, about there is the bottom of where the dart comes to when I pinched it out of my mock-up, and that is very close to where the raglan seam is. And so for me, I'm able to take that dart fullness out of the raglan out of the raglan seam, so it fits better over my shoulders. That's really fun. I have two possible fabrics for doing this dress in. The one I most want to do it in is this strawberry fabric. This is a cotton flannelette, and I think this is just going to be such a comfy, warm winter dress. And nice natural fibres, which my body is really appreciating. So that's these two. Yep. So this yellow version is the one I'll be looking at, but with a long skirt because I like warm legs. Yeah. The last sewing project that I have lined up is going to be a bit of a mishmash. So I got this fabric. This is from the clearance section at Spotlight. Biggest downside with clearance fabrics from Spotlight is that you have to go in store to get the clearance prices. I live an hour away, and so for me that's a decent trip because it's $25 petrol. So when we go through past a Spotlight, I tend to go, can we stop in and have a look at the fabric, or do I have time to? So I haven't opened this up for a while. Ooh. This one is again raglan sleeve, and it's got the gathered neckline, peasant blouse style. And so I've done a top out of the top half of this pattern before, just omitting the waist elastic, and it's great. I love it. I wear it almost every time it comes out of the wash, but the sleeves aren't quite long enough, so I can take that one up, use it like a mock-up, and go, okay, the sleeve comes to here, I want it to come to here, so what's that measurement? Oh, I'll say in elbow, what's that measurement? And add that on to the length of the sleeve. And then what I plan to do with that is add on a tiered and gathered skirt. Given that I have this skirt handy, I figure I may as well. But I do see that it's a nice A-line skirt there that they've got attached there, so we'll see. Yeah, that again, the raglan sleeve. So that's the idea of what to do with that one, and this is how I organised my project when I was making that skirt. Oh, I made a petticoat and this top out of these sheet sets. They got a rip in them, and so I was like, well, that turns into fabric for clothes, knowing that it's a pattern I hadn't tried before, and I have had to repair a couple of holes in the fabric, but because of the pattern and the thread, you don't really notice it. And the benefit for me is that I know that it's okay if it gets more holes in, because again, I suppose it's the wearable muslin fodder is, oh, what's her name? Xian. Xian from Kittenish Behaviour likes to say. Wearable muslin fodder. Okay, on the needles. What's the website? Vintage Knitting Patterns, I think. If you do a Google search of the 3-hour raglan sweater, you'll find this pattern. I have knit the back, and because it says size 16, but no measurements, so no idea how big that actually is. Holding it up to my body, the bust will fit fine. The question is this cast on edge, because this part is fine, that'll go round at the waist, but this cast on edge I'm not so sure about. So the back has less stitches in the front, which I found interesting, and so when I switched to doing the front, I switched to 5.5 millimeter. 5.5 millimeter? Yes, 5.5 millimeter needles. And so so that makes this ribbing bigger than this ribbing, even though they're both 2x2. It makes it slightly bigger, and so hopefully it fits. Though I have two girls, 1 8 and 1 4, who have both said that if it doesn't fit me, they'll happily wear it. So it's worth finishing it at least. So that's on the needles. Oh, the wool I'm using for that one is 50% Tencel, 50% acrylic. It's Modavera. I got this as it was a competition from Spotlight years ago. Guess how many balls of wool in the trolley? And most of it was clearance wool that they were getting rid of. But I guessed the number on the dot, 103 balls of wool. And so me as a university student without a car had to then go, oh, I won all this wool, giant bag of it. How do I get this home? Thankfully, a lady there saw my plight and was like, would you like a lift? Yes, please. I don't really want to walk however far it was. I'm trying to think. Yeah, it was a long way. Also on the needles is the Oddball sweater. This is a old pattern that my local spinners and weavers group were doing in 2022, so 3 years ago now, and I was knitting on it fine, knit, and then I got to the sleeves, and it was meant to be 1x1 rib, and I didn't like how it looked, and so I got that far down the sleeve, and I stopped working on it for 2 years, because every time I thought about working on it, I'm like, I don't like how it looks, and if I don't like how it looks, what's the point in working on it? So a few weeks ago I was like, right, I'm never going to finish this jumper if I'm having the sleeves like this, so I am going to rip it back. So I put in a lifeline and undid the work on my sleeves. I'm very thankful to myself that I did the underarm shaping of both sleeves before stopping, because otherwise I'd have so much trouble trying to figure out how to do this, because I don't remember how I did the underarm shaping, so I'm really glad I did that, both of that for myself back in the day. Does this have my gloves? It does! I wondered where my gloves were. I have knit my first glove, and this is my second glove, because I needed to start undoing. Oh, this is the first one of which I've taken some of the test fingers off to go on this one, because I knew I didn't have enough wool to have 3 gloves out of this wool. This is a free pattern. It is called Falling Leaves. The pattern is by Sarah Oman and it's available on Ravelry for free. I've got this lovely pattern in the rib and on the back of the hand. I need to redo this finger because it's a little bit too long. I need to redo these 2 fingers because I worked out that I don't like having the bulk of knit 2 together and pull it tight on the end of my fingers. It just feels lumpy. And so I've basically done short row shaping and done it like the end of a toe over the end of my fingers. So that was fun and interesting. This one was fine, though I did it too long. This one I managed to get the twist of it in the wrong place, but I can live with that. And this one I did right, so we're winning. And these 2 I can just unpick them and knit them. There should be enough there, not that long of an end. And so yeah, I've got the ribbing part way done on the second glove of that set, and I have really long fingers, so trying to find gloves that actually fit me, it doesn't happen. I can find fingerless gloves that fit me, but either the hand is huge and baggy, or I've got that much space at the base of my fingers, which I'd rather have baggy hands. But in general, I don't wear gloves with fingers. The other project I have is fixing a jumper that my mum knit for me. So I figure this will work. It's some that I generally use as waste yarn for my knitting machine, but this is meant to be a seam and it's currently not. So yeah, need to sew that up. And there's another wee hole here, which I've tied the ends so that they won't come undone anymore. And does this one need sewn up? No, this side's fine. Sweet. That's good news. Yeah, so that's many plans. We'll see how many I get through over the next month or so. And yeah, so today's the last day of school term, so I don't know how much I'll get done over the next 2 weeks with school holidays. It's the week before Easter, and so today is what, the 11th of April 2025, and so we'll see how we go. Hopefully I'll get a couple of these done and be able to show you later in the month. Thanks. Bye.